Archangel Michael says, "Beloved, I am so glad you finally found this. I've been waiting for 3 weeks to tell you this. I promise, you'll cry when you hear what I have to say. But hurry. This message will vanish in 35 seconds. If you skip this, watch immediately." The moment your finger touched this message, something in the spirit realm shattered. A lock has been opened. A scroll that was sealed for 21 days is now glowing again, because you finally arrived where heaven needed you to be. For 3 weeks, Archangel Michael stood over your destiny, sword drawn, eyes burning, waiting for divine permission to release what they tried to bury from you. You were not forgotten. You were delayed, on purpose. Because the weight of what you're about to hear could only be released in this very moment. Something sacred is being delivered from heaven to you, right now. But it comes with urgency, because your name was spoken in a spiritual agreement that was never meant to include you. Your delay was not random. It was engineered by someone very close. Archangel Michael says, "You must not tell your family. I can only trust you for this. Because someone you love, someone with your blood, made a hidden vow against your rise. They traded your blessing for momentary gain. But now their secret is bleeding through the seams. This message is your warning, but also your release. If you feel the chills, if your hands tremble as you read this, it's because the atmosphere is opening. Heaven has begun the reversal. The truth is unraveling. The blessing is coming. But you must keep reading. You must hear the whole message before it disappears." Archangel Michael says, "Beloved, I am so glad you finally found this. I've been waiting for 3 weeks to tell you this. I promise, you'll cry when you hear what I have to say. But hurry, this message will vanish in 35 seconds. The silence you felt wasn't absence, it was preparation. While you were pacing through dark days and heavier nights, the heavens were rearranging destinies behind a veil you could not see. Archangel Michael stood on your behalf, guarding a message that the forces of delay fought violently to keep from you. The hour has now arrived. The sky has cracked, and the moment you were born for has finally broken through. What you are reading is not just a message, it is a spiritual intervention. Archangel Michael says, "The resistance was real. We tried for 21 days to reach you, but something interfered with every sign, every whisper, every warning. But now, the obstruction is shattered. The path that was blocked is now glowing. You are standing at the edge of a sacred delivery, a moment heaven marked with gold ink and sealed for this exact hour. You were never forgotten, you were being protected. Beloved, there is something you must know. This message nearly didn't reach you. 3 different times it was stolen, redirected, and hidden by hands that should have never had access to your spiritual communication. You're not wrong for feeling like something strange has been following you. The flickering lights. The sudden chills. The overwhelming pressure around 3 a.m. These were signs, evidence of a war in the spirit realm. Archangel Michael says, the delay was not random. The one who tried to stop this was someone close, someone who saw your light and tried to dim it behind a smile. The moon trembled behind torn clouds the night your name was spoken in the wrong company. They thought they could rewrite your prophecy. They thought if they altered the time, you'd miss the hour of favor. But heaven does not misplace what it marks. God says, you are right on time. Now, listen. There is a scroll. It was rolled tight and placed under divine guard for 21 days. It holds what belongs to you, a key, a shift, a financial realignment, and a sacred visitation that changes everything. Do not look away now. This message is the final confirmation you've needed, the one you kept sensing but couldn't name. The dream wasn't wrong. The coincidence wasn't coincidence. It was heaven screaming through subtle signs. You've survived what was meant to paralyze you. You've walked through sabotage disguised as kindness. You were weeping while others smiled at your delay. But you made it through the smoke. This is not just your breakthrough, it's your survival stamp. The winds are shifting. Can you feel it? It's not in your imagination. The chills that come out of nowhere, the heat in your palms, the strange flickers in devices when you pray, it's the spiritual realm syncing with you again. You've been chosen for something time-sensitive. You were never late. They tried to sabotage the clock. They tried to move your moment. But now the divine has overridden them. Archangel Michael says, beloved, the page has turned, and your name is on the next chapter. The enemy who tried to steal your script will now be forced to watch your scene of glory unfold. The betrayal started 3 weeks ago. That was the week you felt unusually tired, unusually anxious, like something was happening just outside your awareness. You were correct. A meeting took place. 2 individuals, tied to your bloodline or close proximity, spoke in hushed tones. They did not want your rise. They feared what would happen if your gift was fully activated. So they made an agreement, not with each other, but with a darker force. God says, I overturned that decision. But you had to wait until the angelic reinforcements arrived. The shaking in your soul is confirmation. Your body is responding to the spiritual shift. You're no longer waiting for it. You're inside it. And what's coming next will feel like a flood of divine force that can't be explained. Let no one distract you now. This is a sacred hour. Everything is aligning in your favor. Close your ears to gossip. Shut your heart to doubters. This message was whispered by light, carried on the wings of warriors, and delivered in this very moment, because now, it can no longer be stopped. The room they sat in was dim. Not by design, but because light flees from deception. The two faces you know, yes, the ones who once laughed with you, shared your food, even claimed to pray for you, were the same ones who whispered your name with poison on their tongues. Archangel Michael says, they did not just gossip about you. They made an agreement to hold you back, to bind your name in the shadows, and to sow confusion around your destiny. It began as envy. A seed so small you didn't notice it at first. But over time, it took root in their hearts, fed by your blessings, watered by every time your life outshined theirs. One of them smiled at you just this week. That smile carried a secret, one that would cut like glass if you saw the truth behind it. Their compliments have been curses. Their concern has been surveillance. You were not paranoid. You were discerning. And now that the veil is lifting, you will understand why the energy in the room shifts every time you walk in. Why the conversations die when you enter. Why their support feels cold. They knew you were close to something. They felt it before you could name it. Your spirit was glowing with a divine countdown, and their jealousy turned into sabotage. God says, even their hidden actions are now exposed before me. Nothing escapes my justice. The delay in your finances, the sudden obstacles, the strange string of miscommunications, they were not coincidences. They were crafted, orchestrated, designed to break your momentum just before your miracle landed. But Archangel Michael has intervened. 3 times he blocked their attempts. 3 times he whispered warnings into your sleep, stirred your spirit, nudged your mind. And now, on this day, he stands beside you. They performed spiritual shortcuts to block what was promised to you. Rituals. Words spoken in the dark. Agreements made through jealousy, cloaked as protection. But they failed to understand one truth: your calling is not theirs to control. You've likely felt the exhaustion, the inexplicable heaviness. That was spiritual interference. That was the weight of words spoken against you that were never meant to touch your energy. But now, those words are returning to their sender. The darkness they played with has now turned on them. Archangel Michael says, they should not have touched what was sacred. They reached for your destiny with unclean hands, and now they will answer to divine fire. Do not respond with anger. Your job now is to remain in position. Still. Anchored. Unmoved. Because the storm they unleashed was intercepted, and the lightning they called down is circling back. God says, I saw what they did. I heard what they said. I counted the moments you cried without knowing why. The real reason for your recent pain was spiritual warfare, not bad luck. The reason doors slammed shut suddenly was because they were tampered with spiritually. But those doors are now being reopened by divine command, this time with locks only heaven can turn. Your voice will return stronger. Your finances will correct with speed. The delay has reached its expiration. You are being vindicated, not privately, but openly. Every delay, every embarrassment, every time you swallowed your pain in silence, heaven has recorded it. And the angels have already started moving. The one who tried to block your breakthrough will now be exposed by their own actions. You will not need to argue. You will not need to prove yourself. Their own words will unravel them. And the strange energy you've been feeling? That restless sensation like something's about to break open? That's because it is. The heavens are rotating. The spiritual order is shifting. And your name is now glowing in the halls of divine reactivation. You are not behind. You are not cursed. You are not forgotten. You are marked. This next chapter of your life has already been written in gold. The pages are unfolding. And the delay they tried to bury you under has now become the very soil for your rise. Archangel Michael says, they tried to dim your flame, but now they will be blinded by your rise. They made a vow using your name. Not with your permission. Not with your awareness. But in the spirit realm, an agreement was spoken, one that attempted to exchange your divine inheritance for their short-lived comfort. Archangel Michael says, it was done secretly, but the heavens were watching. A sacred law was violated, and what was once hidden is now unraveling. You trusted someone who used that trust to gain access to your thoughts, to your habits, even to your spiritual atmosphere. They pretended to pray with you while quietly untying the knots that kept your blessings tethered. But what they didn't know is this: you are sealed. Long before they schemed, long before they whispered your name in rooms you were never invited into, heaven wrote your assignment in divine light. What belongs to you cannot be signed away. But still, they tried. They spoke to someone. Someone who operates in dark spaces. A transaction occurred. Your name, your destiny, was offered as a form of leverage. They used your past wounds, your deepest insecurities, as bargaining tools. This wasn't just emotional betrayal. This was spiritual theft. God says, I watched when they tried to rewrite what I decreed. I saw when they thought no eyes were upon them. I let them reach the edge, but I did not let them touch your throne. 3 nights ago, you felt it. The pull in your chest. The strange dream. The heat behind your eyes when you woke. That was your spirit reacting to the disruption, a divine alarm going off in the middle of your sleep. And still, you wondered if you were just tired. But no, beloved. You were being warned. There was a scroll. An angel held it, assigned to your destiny, your breakthrough, your elevation. But when the vow was spoken using your name, the scroll burned in the angel's hand. Not destroyed, but activated. And suddenly, the entire realm shifted. That's why the atmosphere around you has been strange. That's why your emotions have felt like waves crashing without warning. The air has been trying to carry a message your soul couldn't yet interpret. But now you understand. You are not broken. You are not confused. You are not cursed. You were attacked, spiritually ambushed by someone who feared your future. Archangel Michael says, the broken vow has consequences. What they tried to give away was never theirs to touch. Do not be surprised when this person begins to experience sudden misalignment, strange misfortunes, emotional confusion. Because the very contract they initiated is now chasing them. They opened a door, and what entered will not leave quietly. But you are being restored. Every word that was spoken over you is being reversed. Every delay they tried to cement is being undone. God says, I have summoned the winds of reversal. Even now, the angels are recovering what was temporarily stolen. The scroll is being rewritten. Your name is glowing again, and the sacred agreement that once bound your future is being broken at the altar of justice. You may feel the heat rising in your room. You may feel a trembling in your legs. That's not fear. That's divine confrontation. The old chains are melting. This is spiritual law unfolding before your very eyes. What they tried to trade for temporary control is now crumbling in their hands. And what they hoped to block will now become your loudest victory. God says, they will watch as I bless the one they tried to bury. This season is not about revenge, it's about recovery. And it starts now. The scroll is open again. The contract is void. And your destiny is no longer suspended in waiting. What was broken has been healed. What was delayed is now advancing. And Archangel Michael stands with sword drawn, guarding the path to ensure nothing touches you again without divine permission. The wind changed this morning, though you may not have noticed. It whispered differently through the trees. The atmosphere shifted with a new frequency, one charged with justice, confrontation, and divine exposure. The one who thought they could hide is now trembling. What they buried in silence is about to be revealed in sound. The earth itself is groaning to unveil what's been covered. Archangel Michael says, the time for shadows has ended. What they whispered in the corners will now echo through the halls. There will be a moment soon, sudden, strange, and unforgettable. A message. A slip of the tongue. A misplaced detail that opens the gate to everything they tried to keep hidden. You will not go searching for it. It will come to you, uninvited but right on time. The divine has issued a command, let what is hidden be revealed. You may feel anxious before it happens. A strange buzzing in your spirit. An urge to leave a room or a conversation. Do not ignore it. That is your inner man responding to angelic movement around you. Because this exposure is not just about clearing your name, it's about restoring your position. The false story they told is losing its legs. The confusion they caused is about to reverse, and clarity will fall like lightning. The people who once questioned your character will now question theirs. God says, I will not let them wear your robe. I will not let them speak with your voice. I will reclaim what they tried to duplicate. You were mocked. Quietly. Strategically. They made others second-guess your integrity. But every person who joined in will now watch as divine hands lift the curtain. And the moment is near. The signs are already showing: miscommunication in their circle, broken trust among their allies, sudden silence where there used to be chatter. This is the unraveling. And it is righteous. Archangel Michael says, do not fear this exposure. It is your release. The very trap they set for your reputation will now be their own undoing. The lies will be turned inside out. The manipulation will backfire. And those who distance themselves from you will soon run back, too late to reclaim what they lost. But you must stay grounded. Do not rejoice in their downfall. Instead, rise in your calling. Because when the truth comes out, it will leave room for something sacred to emerge, your voice, purified. Your power, visible. Your peace, untouchable. The war has already been won in the spirit realm. What you're about to witness is just the unfolding of divine timing in the natural world. And when the moment happens, when the name is mentioned, when the evidence appears, when the lie collapses, you will feel the wind return to your lungs. The weight will leave your shoulders. And you will finally know why it took this long. God says, there was a purpose in the delay. Now, there will be glory in the exposure. They tried to bury you with secrets. But instead, heaven has built you a platform of truth. And soon, your silence will roar louder than their accusations ever could. Stay still, beloved. The light is approaching. The curtain is lifting. And what heaven is about to expose will rewrite everything. You have been walking through a silent war. Every step forward has felt heavy. Every promise delayed has made your heart ache. But heaven has not been idle. Something massive has been set into motion. Archangel Michael says, they tried to delay you, distract you, and detour you. But now the gates of restoration are swinging open, and nothing on this earth can hold it back. This is more than a turnaround. This is divine repayment. Not just for what you lost, but for everything you endured in silence, for every night you fell asleep with unanswered questions and trembling faith. there was a heavenly vault with your name on it. And for 3 weeks, it remained sealed because of the vow spoken against you. But the moment that vow was broken and cast down, the vault began to shake. The scroll has been unsealed. And what is about to come forth will feel unreal, unexplainable. Even the people closest to you will blink in disbelief. The very ones who doubted you will have no words when they see the blessing fall. God says, this is not just restoration. It is divine acceleration. The days that were stolen will be returned in strength. The favor that was hidden will now overflow. And where there was once lack, there will be divine surplus, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. You will receive messages, unexpected ones. Opportunities that went cold are returning warm. Conversations that were silent will reopen with urgency. And what was denied before will now chase you down with relentless favor. This restoration is not quiet. It will be seen, heard, and undeniable. Archangel Michael says, they tried to block your harvest, but they forgot who wrote your seed. Even now, divine hands are placing people in position to bless you. Some don't even know why they're being drawn to you. It's because heaven is assigning them by name, just as it assigned you by purpose. And the one who tried to hijack your promise? They will be forced to witness your rise. Their eyes will see it. Their ears will hear it. And their hearts will tremble, not because of your revenge, but because of the weight of justice. God says, I will prepare a table before you, not in secret, but in the very presence of those who tried to feed off your silence. You will eat. You will rise. You will reign. This next season will be marked by open doors, strange favor, fast recovery, joy that feels unfamiliar at first, because it's been so long since you've had peace that wasn't interrupted. But it's here. You are not the same person who was attacked. You are wiser, sharper, more spiritually tuned. And nothing will be able to pull you back into that pit again. Because what heaven is sealing over your life now can no longer be touched by unclean hands. You are marked again, with fire, not fear. And Archangel Michael stands posted, his sword drawn, not behind you anymore, but beside you, walking every step forward with you until you reach the promise. God says, go forward now. The past has been judged. The future is open. Your path is no longer blocked. Your name is no longer tampered. Your calling is no longer suspended. It has begun.